Hey, Pat. All right, here we are. Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. Pat says, can't stay the whole time. Sorry to hear that, but understood. Thanks for checking in. And how is everybody doing? As usual with the live stream, a confirmation on audio being clear and picture being clear. Not necessarily pretty, but clear. Hold on. Don't need AirPods in if we're not doing Camera Flask, which, by the way, from a housekeeping standpoint, is going to be happening the first Wednesday of December. Somebody might want to confirm this, but I think the first Wednesday of December is December 4th. Thank you for the confirmation. DJ Succotash. We're long overdue for a catch-up chat, but did you ever work out your YouTube stuff? Because I'm still not seeing any comments from you. Not that you have to comment, but yeah, there you go. I'm seeing, all I'm seeing is Eggo waffles. Marshall Rosales, good to have you. And yeah, here we are. Another Wednesday. They creep up on you pretty quickly. And there you go, David. Good to have you here, and everybody else who is joining the live stream. We do this every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time for usually the second, third, and fourth Wednesdays of the month. First Wednesday is usually reserved for Cameron Flask with myself, Ben Barden, and Caleb Pike. And occasionally there's no live stream, like, again, for housekeeping. Next week, we have a small little holiday in the U.S. that happens on the fourth Thursday of every November. It's called Thanksgiving. I'm sure even if you're not in this country, you've heard of this Turkey Day. And it is, in actual fact, for me, useless piece of information for everybody. My favorite holiday. It is the holiday that has really everything to do with food and family and friends. Uh, you don't need to spend half of your month's income on buying gifts for your children and your loved ones. And while I do have a soft spot in my heart for Christmas as well, for many of the same reasons when it comes to food, family, and friends, Thanksgiving is really just that. And for us here in our house, it's sort of command central for our friends and family who are local to here. And we're definitely keeping that trend this year in terms of local people coming over and some of my kids' friends coming over from like college and stuff like that. So over 20 people here in the house. So next Wednesday night will be virtually impossible to do a live stream. There's just going to be a full house, and there you go. Yeah, for sure a chat, DJ. We'll try to sneak it in before Thanksgiving if we can. And let me just do some shout outs. Darren Lewis, what's happening? We've got the two Davids in here right now. Sam is in the house. Micah, here we go. So, and yes, I'm seeing no comments from you, DJ, at all on the channel. And like I said, when we checked, I went in and was trying to see if you were being blocked or held for comments. None of that stuff seems to be happening. I don't know how you handle that problem. It'd be interesting to see if there's anything. Well, I doubt it, but if you have another YouTube account, maybe post with that and let me know, and I'll see if it comes through or if it's something else. David, you said it's been a year already. For what? Tell me what the year is. What's going on with the year? What am I missing? A year for Thanksgiving or something else? David, tell me. All right, let's see what we got here. Anybody else? What sounds crazy? The number of people, Pat? You know. this house is pretty quiet nowadays overall. Just one of the three kids in the house all the time. So having a little bit of psychosis here for 4 or 5 days is going to be fun. Hamburg. I have been to Hamburg. It was a long time ago. And when I had my Eurail pass and I was 19 years old, and I remember I was going from Italy. Is this right? Yeah, I was going up from Italy to go and see my grandmother in Sweden, and I met this guy from South America on the train. We started talking, and he said, I know this guy I met." Uh, and I think he met him in South America. And he said he lives in Hamburg. I want to get off and go hang out. And I had a Euro pass. So I was like, I don't think it's going to matter if I show up to see my grandma a little bit later, a day later. And so that's what I did. And we we got off at the train station, and I remember that he went up to a payphone, because this is in ancient times, and he called his friend, and then like 15 or 20 minutes later, this tiny little car showed up with this giant guy. He was like 6'6", 6'7", really big, not like fat, but like big guy. And he got like out of the car, this tiny little car, and the two of us loaded in with our backpacks, and we drove to his apartment. And I remember we kind of went into the apartment. I think we might have had a drink, dumped our bags on the ground, and then he said, "There's a party at Hamburg University, so you guys want to go?" And we're like, "Hell yeah!" So we went over there, and we spent, you know, a long time at that party. And then I remember coming back to his apartment and just crashing, not comfortable accommodations, getting up in the morning and just going straight to the train station and heading back up to Sweden. So it was a lot of fun. That's a stupid story, but it's true, and it happened, and I had fun. And now my son, who's a senior in high school, is talking about getting a Eurail pass, but they're not the same anymore. They used to be like bulletproof. That's like $300, travel for a month, go anywhere you want, no restrictions. Now it's, bleh, whatever. He was telling me, and I was like, that's garbage. Yeah. Full House. I see. Getting replies. Pre-ordered. The new light. Any guesses, David? I mean, you might have gotten the Aperture 80C, which looks to be a pretty interesting light. My guess is you went with the 1000C as opposed to the 1200X. I may be wrong. A little less output, a little more flexibility in terms of color tunable. That's my guess. A little more expensive too. I think that the 1000C is about $3,500 US, and the 1200X is about 3,000. So if it were my choice, what I would do is I would, if I like, so let me just say something. I'll probably do a daily drop on this anyway, so maybe I shouldn't, but I'm not going to do it. Okay, I'll talk about this later. Yes, it does seem like yesterday we were talking about Thanksgiving dinner, and that was last year. It goes so fast. So let's see. I know this isn't Camera Flask, but I thought it'd be nice to let everyone know I'm splurging with a bowl of cottage cheese and a handful of almonds. That's pretty funny. Jess is in the kitchen right now. She called me right before. I've got to shoot a daily drop after this. And she's making braised short ribs. So I think I'm drinking red wine tonight. Hold on. I got to show you something. Do I? Maybe. Oh. Check this out. This is the new iFootage. This is the Shark Nano 2, which is a pretty huge upgrade from the original one, which for me was actually one of my favorite sliders. It did have some issues on longer lenses and with certain speeds and camera configurations with micro jitters. This new one higher weight capacity, all new rebuilt engine. And with the original, you could set two basically target or control points, keyframes, whatever you want to call them. With this one, you can do up to 8. And I've been playing around with it a little bit and just kind of getting into updating the firmware, figuring out the lay of the land. And it also has, and you'll see, I think you can see this, there are small contacts here. This is because there's about 4 or 5 different DJI Ronins that are compatible with this, and it will all communicate with each other. So it's not see, the thing that's unique about this is this has a motor for sliding and it has a motor for panning, and it's all built in. And that was kind of the feather in the cap of the original Shark Nano as well. But this is the longer version, 60 centimeters, and then the shorter version is 40. Pretty cool piece of kit. So there you go. Let's see. Darren says, went to Sweden for the first time last week. Delightful place. Yes. And if you are an English speaker, pretty much anywhere in Scandinavia, it's kind of shocking to me when I was a kid, because I love movies, and I would go see movies in other countries and watch TV and stuff. And if you're anywhere sort of south of Scandinavia, pretty much all of the television and movies are in native language, or they're subtitled, captioned for English. When you go to Scandinavia, it was the opposite. I went to go see a movie, and the movie was in English. It's an American movie, and they subtitled it in Swedish. There you go. David said, I did go with the ADC. Oh, yeah. How much is that thing? Like $500-600? Looks like a beast of a little fixture, though. I'm happy that they're carrying through with what I saw at Cinegear, which is these 2 tracks of the X line and the C line, and now the cat's out of the bag. But the core of both of them is this Blair engine, and then they're just adding 2 colors to be able to reproduce, which is kind of interesting, because you would think that we know that the X has capabilities, if it was set up a certain way, of reproducing color because of the 5 LEDs, but probably not accurately based on what they're trying to do. And you already have a 1200D, so that makes total sense. And then a 600C, 600X. Interested to see as you start to use it, even though it's the smaller of the fixtures, David, if you find that the reproduction, because that's the question, if the base fixture is the Blair engine as well, do they just drop the other 2 lights when you're creating white light with the fixture? So that you're still getting the same quality and matching that light with the X version. It's something I'd really like to find out about the C versus X, because obviously the hit there is light output, right? If you're using, but yeah, but they're driving those pretty hard. And, the word on the street is that the 1200X actually has more output than like the 1200D if you're putting daylight out there. And the 1200 watt fixture is definitely one of the few things that is on my wish list. I kind of find that is, in a lot of ways, that's the Neo. 1000 to 1200 is the Neo of like the most versatile key light that you could have in your kit. So the 1200X for me, like if I right now, sight unseen, if I had a choice between the 1200X and the 1000C, I would take the 1200X any day of the week, because 99% of the time I'm just concerned with white light. And even if you can use the 1000C to reproduce the same quality of white light that you can with the 1200X, I'd like the extra output so that I could bounce and diffuse, all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah. What's up? I'm DeBrown. How's it going, man? Yeah, that slider looks good, Jeff. See what I did there? All right. Interesting to see what they are doing with the Pro Light technology. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it, but I think they've taken that and possibly some of the R&D and maybe the team. I actually haven't talked to Ted or Tim about that, and they are part of this development process. I don't know, because I don't know. All right. David says, I have the now old version not so long ago. They're pretty much seems they answered some of the issues of the first version. Oh, you're talking about the Nano. Can't afford a new one. They need people doing reviews for units. Yeah, I'm gonna do some stuff that's educational, just sort of like how to get started with it and doing some things like that. Um, they're not shipping yet, and so I don't know where we are with firmware, and I'm going to give them some feedback, and I started to do that as well. No major issues that I found so far, and unit seems very quiet and very easy to use like the last one. The big difference is when you disengage the kind of motor system and you're moving especially the sliding part of it, it's got more resistance than the previous version, which I feel like you moved a little bit faster, but I'm fine with it having more resistance. As long as I can get it where I need it to be and point that camera where it needs to go, then there you go. Marshall, and by the way, if you want me to pick up on a comment or something very specifically, just put an at the C47 there. Happy to have you, Tony. Okay, 1200X versus 1000C. I thought it was nice that Aperture did a pretty good breakdown of which to go with based on use in the FAQ on each product page. Marshall, can you give us a little more data on that? Because I didn't click through to that and read that. I'd be interested to see where they think that application is. Because, a high-powered color tunable light has a lot less application to me unless you're shooting certain types of content, right? You're shooting sci-fi, something that's a little fashion based, something that takes place in a big modern city. Those are places where I would expect to see a lot of color in the environment. But then you've got talent, and of course you want to use the best white light you can for them. David, I have not so far used the iFootage Shark Nano 2 with a gimbal, but I do have a Ronin here on loan from B&H, who is sponsoring our trivia contest later today. And I have the prizes all set up, and I think questions that I haven't asked before, but you'll put me on the spot and check me on that if necessary. We're at a lucky 15. I think we should get 20 plus or more people here. Yeah. So, DJ, I have not talked about the Axune setup yet in the video. I'm in the process of putting that together, and had just received a few more assets that I need in terms of like a matrix breakdown of the different configurations. But there is a full review up on newsshooter.com for the CineView Master 4K from Axune. Except for the sort of size and weight of the system, it's pretty damn great. For $850, $899, whatever US. I think it's $849 right now in B&H. The latency is great on it, or lack thereof, and all that stuff. Yeah. All right. We're lucky 17. 18. I get a little counter now on my Stream Deck. Used to drive me crazy, but now I just put it on there, and there's a counter option. Yeah, there you go. All right. So what do we got? What are we going to talk about now? I'm ready. What's our topics? We are at 3:20. Clock just changed, and we've got a good half hour of just talking shop, projects you're working on, things you're trying to sort out, equipment you're interested in, What are we talking about? Yeah, well, it's going up and down in terms of the numbers. Oh, we're down to 13 now. You start calling out how many people are here, and people start getting nervous, and they get out of here, and all that stuff. I didn't want to jinx it, so come on. All right. David says, I pre-ordered, so I'm waiting on it. I'm assuming you mean the new aperture light. Yeah, I mean, it just dropped, a day or two ago? So, there's that. Anything else in the wonderful world of more equipment that we don't need? Let's see what we got. Let's see. Well, I don't know if we're talking about the Sony Alpha 1 Mark II. Looks to be a fantastic mirrorless camera, sort of the AI upgrades and all that kind of stuff from that. And Laowa, it's got a new nanomorph 60 millimeter T2.9 1.5x Super 35 macro. It's a 1:2, not a 1:1 macro. Sony released their new 28-70 GM lens. That's the f2 version. Angelbird, some new, very cost-effective CF Express Type A cards. I think they start at like $99. And then Angelbird has new little card readers that fit in your pocket. Anything else? Sigma, they're coming into the RF mount Canon game. I think that's what we got for now. Yeah. Anything else? Nothing major. All right, let's get back to these questions here. So, if you need precision color control with high saturation across the visible spectrum, 1000C. If you want excellent tunable white light with great adjustability and high output, 1200X. Yeah. I'm assuming, though, with the Blair engine in there as the base, that you're still going to be able to get excellent tunable white light. Again, the question would be, can you drop those other two colors and essentially use it like whatever that winds up being, a 750 to 900 watt equivalent, X version of their light? I'd be interested in that. That would be pretty interesting to find out. How does the slider work with the Ronin, Pat? God only knows. I know that it's designed out of the box to work with that, and it works with, let me bring up, I actually have an email. I'm afraid to open it because Brandon may be sending me photographs of a new set. Not that that's bad. Let's see. Madison is the dude from iFootage. Pi is ready. I'm afraid to open this too because I'm in the middle of some deadline stuff, and I'm gonna see if I can find this email. Just give me 1 second, kiddos, because I want to answer your question properly, and I actually have the answer. It's just not information. Here we go. So the models that the iFootage Shark Nano 2 slider works with in terms of DJI Ronin are the RS2. Pay particular attention to this though, because it's very specific models, and it's 4 models in total. It is the RS2, it's the RS3 Pro, it is the RS4, and the RS4 Pro. So RS2, RS3 Pro, RS4, and RS4 Pro. So none of the mini options, and very specifically, my guess is because of the communication protocol. It's kind of interesting why it's that it's not compatible with all of them. Yeah. Yeah, see, this is the mistake of me opening an email on a project with a deadline, and now I've seen like 2 or 3 emails with asks that I can't deal with right now. But I'll have to deal with them after this live stream before I shoot the daily drop. How are you finding those auto subtitles? I was surprised to hear that it's just showing up in FCP. Yeah, me too. I've been using the heck out of Premieres for a good couple of years now. We've been using them in Premiere for a long time. The vast majority of my client-based projects are cut in Premiere Pro because the editors that I'm using are using Creative Cloud. And we've been using, that captioning transcription feature in there. I've only done a couple of little tests, and so far it seems very accurate. Perfect? No, you have to go in and adjust a few of the subtitles usually, but very fast and seems to be about as accurate as I could ask for. I mean, I wish it would get every word completely right. I barely get every word. Yeah, so David, it is the DJI Ronin or RS2 upwards, but it's not every model upwards. So there are versions of those later models that it doesn't work with. And it is very, very specific. So if it says, it's the RS something Pro and it doesn't mention the other version of it, then it's not going to work with it. So you just have to know that it's like, I think I said RS2. Did I say RS3 Pro? R, the 4, and then the 4 Pro. There you go. All right. I think we got that. What are the Sigma RFs? They released, I believe it's 4 prime lenses that are RF mount and just different focal lengths. I haven't actually dug into that at all, but I know they announced that a couple or a few days ago. All right. Shoji coming in with the questions. For basic filmmaking tasks, does the FX30 have any feature advantages over the Sony? I'm assuming you say A7C, or do you mean just 7C? Let me know what you mean by that. Really the big advantage with the FX30 and the FX3, in my opinion, is sort of the design and the way the camera body is put together. It's designed for cine applications. There's no EVF. There's a built-in fan, which is incredibly quiet, and it has a lot of mounting points in terms of the camera body. So I would say that it's more tuned for, motion capture for cine production than the other mirrorless cameras, but there are disadvantages as well. FX30 only being a super 35 millimeter side sensor, and then the FX3 being a full frame sensor, but because of the megapixels on it, which are low, which is good for light gathering. But when you switch over to a crop mode like Super 35, you can only capture in HD because it's cropping into the sensor so much that you don't have enough megapixels to retain a 4K resolution. So there's advantages and disadvantages to both. It's one of the reasons that while it doesn't have the built-in fan and the cine features, I think the A7C2, the Mark II, is really a great camera for the money because it's a full frame sensor. It's higher megapixels. So when you go to Super 35, it actually can still capture in 4K. It's pretty admirable in low light. Not as good as an FX3, but pretty great. And, if you're in a controlled environment, I have never had any issues with that camera overheating. Maybe in very hot, warm environments, that's going to be a case. And I'm sure there's a lot of videos and articles about when that does happen. But you don't really have that consideration with the FX30, with the FX3. You don't have that with the Canon R5C. All 3 of those cameras are built for, cinema style capture and to be in lots of different environments, hence the built-in fan. And again, that camera, the R5C, 2 years old, could come out today, and it's it's in the ring, and it's it's a lot more interesting than the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, which was a complete letdown. But we don't need to dwell on that. Yeah, I don't know why it's so specific, Pat, in terms of the models, but there you go. What about I don't know about that. What's QRS? Is that other? What are we talking about here? Are these, I'm kind of out of the gimbal game. I've never loved them. They're all right. I mean, look, they have purpose. I think they're great for certain things. And there's certain people who are using gimbals in ways that just kind of blow my mind. But it's just not the majority of the types of production I'm doing. And I'm really interested to see how it integrates into this slider, into the Shark Nano 2. Day in, day out, unless I was doing stop motion or tabletop stuff all of the time, repeatable, kind of moves that also needed to have tilt and possibly roll, then that's where I could see the integration. It's actually more interesting for me personally to see an integration of the Ronin gimbals with a slider than it is for me for handheld production. Yeah. Oh God. I'm just reading DJ's comment about what they were emailing, and they were floating around work today. Crazy. All right. Pat, just send me an email with the model you have. I can reconfirm, but those models that I read off to you are from the horse's mouth from iFootage of the models that are compatible with the Shark Nano 2. So I don't know. I don't know if they can expand that in the future or not. I have no idea. Marshall says the 1000C has tuning mode, HSIC plus, XY coordinates, yep, and gel equivalents without the additional colors. The 1200 devotes power to high output light across wide CTU. Yep. All right, we'll see. From the iFootage website, David says RS2, RS2 Pro. Okay. RS3 Pro, RS4, RS4 Pro. What model do you have? No RS3 though. So that's definitely not there. And there's one of them has a mini. Is that the RS3? It's also not on that list. Shoji says, do I have the XLR adapter for your FX30? How is it? I do not. And I think you're referring to Sony's multi shoe adapter. They're usually pretty good. They don't necessarily give you a lot more in terms of better preamps. But they do give you access to changing your levels and things like that, turning on and off phantom power, lots of other functionality. So it can be nice if you're not going to do double system sound to get that unit. But you have to think about it and make sure that if you're going to cage your FX30, that you're thinking about that as well. Look, at a holiday price of $15.98 US dollars, it's, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, probably the best little mini cinema camera you can get. There's arguments there that you might be better off going the Blackmagic design route, and they make some compelling cameras that are very, very cost effective. The difference is that autofocus on the FX30 is pretty phenomenal. And when you are a small to no crew, having that feature set is kind of a big deal. Yeah. There we go. Micah says, was gifted a Nikon or Nikon, depending on where you're from, D7000 with a Nikkor 18 to 200 f 3.5 to 5.6 lens, kind of like the kit lens. The focus motor is really loud, probably because of the shitty. Did I say that? kit lens. I usually shoot Canon. I have no experience with Nikon. Do you think the camera is just showing its age? It could be that the lens is showing its age. And that's not unusual. Kit lenses in general, unless it's Fuji, are generally not fantastic. And a lot of those motors in there can be pretty noisy. Some of the cheaper motors in some of the Canon glass as well is like that. Not so much with the newer lenses, but it's definitely a thing. See, Pat used the gimbal today on getting some B-roll in the wild. I'm hoping that wasn't with a fire. Who's this GEM guy? I'm the Brown. Come on, you're killing me. QRS or the RST don't really teach the what? I don't know what you're saying. I am not tracking. It's probably because I'm just going to say it Wednesday. That doesn't mean anything at all. I don't know why I'm not. These acronyms or what's happening here. I don't know why I'm not tracking with this. David says, but come back, I'm the Brown, and give me another reply. I need to know. Do it 6 different ways. I'm ready. David says, I have a Dana Dolly move this Saturday night for a short film. It starts close up on a ritual book, and then zooms out. Is it zooming? Are you zooming as well? Are you doing like one of those? While trucking right, revealing dead cultists and zooms in on a half-dead person. I love half-dead people. That's the best kind in a movie like that. It sounds like a move. You're going to have to rehearse that quite a few times. And try to make your camera as heavy as possible. And one little piece of advice is you've got surface area on that Dana Dolly. Try to get some sandbags or some things on there to help weigh it down. It'll help with the move a little bit. QRS TUV. Oh, I'm the Brown. You're funny, man. DJ says, doesn't quite sound like a compression shot, more a classic horror zoom. Yeah. I think so. I mean, it depends, I guess, which direction you're zooming is it all trucking? If it's just trucking, I get it. Or there's no push in. There's no. Okay. Give me more information. But it sounds like fun. But just weigh that thing down. And have a good fluid head on there. I hope you have one. Yeah, because it's going to make a difference. Because unless you motorize that Dana Dolly, it's all going to be in your hands. Focus puller? You have a focus puller? Is AC on this thing? Let me know, David. All right, here we are. Hanging strong. We're talking about horror movies. 13 people watching the live stream right now. What are you going to do? And Brandon must be busy because usually Brandon's chiming in. Is he coming in right at the last moment for the trivia contest? I don't know. Maybe. Good. All right. One problem solved. Oh gosh. Via iPhone. Unbelievable. All right. The things that come up in the wonderful world of corporate and nonprofit video production, all good. It's all part of the problem solving and trying to figure things out. It's just you'll get an email. I'm sure you all have had them. And it's sort of like, let's do this, or can we do this? And the plan wasn't that. And then you have to kind of figure out the best way to approach it, right? All right. What do we got? I'm ready. I'll start talking about something, but it's a lot better when somebody posts a question, a comment, something for us to get into. We got about another 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to jump into our little monthly trivia thing, where people are going to win some prizes. If it's been a couple of months, your game to be in the list. With the piddly amount of people we have here, you have pretty good odds of winning something. All right, I have the DJI RS3 Mini. It's great, but all the RS3 or RS didn't work with it. Oh, so it's really kind of a an odd um an odd one in the pack. It's literally like the runt of the RS series, and that's kind of weird that they didn't let the RS3 accessories work with it. So maybe this is the beginning of the problems with that thing. I don't know. But if it's a useful piece of kit for you and you're getting good shots with it, then yeah, there you go. Yeah. No plan survives contact with the client. That should be a bumper sticker. That should be something. I like it. And maybe Marshall is going to make that short. Maybe the name of the short is clients. No plan survives contact. Well, you want to say client twice. All right, I got to think that one through. Shirt. What's shirt? What are you talking about? Shirt. Shirt. What are we shirting about? Don't shirt. No, it says short. All right. I don't know what's happening here. Different handle on the Mini. Damn it. We can do a bumper sticker. Yeah, everything's like bespoke nowadays, you know? You just go out there and you can put anything on a t-shirt, a pair of socks, a bumper sticker, a tattoo. Well, that's different, but shirt. Make a shirt. Oh, yeah, make a shirt, not a short. But I think we need a short. We should just make a short called that or something like that. David says, I have a Miller head. Which one? And just trucking, no vertigo zoom. Great. That dolly zoom. I usually weigh it down and may put my tilt to focus on, but no one on the set has pulled before. Don't demonetize me, David. Can you describe your second system for audio? I don't know what that means. You mean second system sound? I like that Shoji Productions is very inquisitive and asks lots of questions about things. I've talked about it in the past. I pretty much do double system sound for any client related project now. I do that for a couple of reasons. When I'm doing the daily drop and stuff, I am going through my external recorder, which is the Mix Pre 6.2, but I'm not using it for double system sound. I'm just taking the stereo out that's going into my camera, and that feed is coming over HDMI to you lovely people. And so you're getting the benefit of the quiet preamps. All of the sort of levels and everything are through the Mix Pre 6.2, but I'm not pressing record on that thing. But it's it's advantage primarily, besides not going out of an 1/8 inch jack into a camera. And we still have production quality sound going into a camera always, but XLR in to the Mix Pre 6.2 and then recording in 32-bit float, which is a big safety when you're a small to no crew. Why do people say the FX3, FX30 weren't cinema cameras? Because they lacked built-in variable ND, but the Pixis doesn't either. I don't know. It's not like historically cinema cameras have had ND built into them. It's a relatively new thing to have ND built into your camera, which to my knowledge really came from the broadcast industry, because prior to digital cinema cameras coming to market, especially with larger sensors. The idea of even having built-in ND in your cinema camera wasn't even a consideration. It didn't really exist. I like that, Marshall. The short can advertise the shirt. But then I think the shirt should also advertise the short. Make a short note shirt. That would be a great one. Oh my God. This is what happens when we start getting into the last 15 minutes. I did find using a big Sockler 100mm head made our Dana Dolly smooth out pretty good. In lens stabilization sure helped too. Yo, for sure. Wait. Helps. I can't remember what Miller head you have, Mr. Carroll, but is it one of the compass heads? They're pretty smooth. You know, I think you have a decent size fluid head. Miller Air. Okay. Not bad. I mean, Miller Air is pretty much equivalent to the DS10 head. It's not definitely as tunable. It doesn't have as much counterbalance, sort of levels, not nearly as many. And not as many options in terms of drag or resistance, but still pretty good depending on your camera rig and what you're putting on it. But seems to be working for you. So just get some weight on that, which it sounds like you're already doing. All right, kids. Just a couple of minutes away from our contest for today, which is partly the honor system. I do not have YouTube up, by the way. I did not do that. Again, Marshall's trying to demonetize the channel here. I don't know what's going on here. I'm kidding, but okay, let's see. YouTube. Let's see if I can, because we're going to do, I trust you guys, but I've made the mistake in the past of not calling out the right stuff. Ooh, stop. Getting a little ad here. I see everybody's little thing. I'm going to pop out the chat. Boom. There it is. And I'll throw that over on another window right here. And there we go. I'll hide the window. I think we're okay. David also has a Benro head. Air is probably better for what you're doing. There you go. All right. Should we do this little trivia contest? We've got what amounts to almost exactly $500 US. If you have a US address, you qualify for this. And we've got some people here, which means we're going to do this. And just again, for some housekeeping, if you weren't here at the beginning of the show, no episode next Wednesday. Is that the 27th or the 28th? Whatever the day before Thanksgiving is, the 27th of November. And then the first Wednesday of December, December 4th, we have not only Camera Flask, where we're going to be talking about our favorite gear from 2024, and you can tell us your favorite gear as well, but we're also going to have another contest. So we're going to be asking some trivia questions, and there's going to be some prizes on the Camera Flask first time. So there you go. Let's do this thing. All right, so first prize that we're going to do today, Pat may or may not still be here. He may be out fighting fires, is going to be, see how the numbers jump up right before we do this? Impact-filled sandbags, there are 6 of them in the set, and they're filled, 20-pounders. And I know it's not a joke, Marshall. I was just taking the piss. It does make a difference. $120 value US, and again, they show up. You basically have like 120 pounds of filled dirt here. I'm pretty sure it's not actually sand in these. No, you don't need those. You won the black versions of these, and they're fine, right? They work. I use them. I think they're good. 20-pounders are pretty good. I like between 20 and 35 pounds. They can actually do something. Um, unless you're inside and you're using like BOA bags from Matthew Studio Equipment, these will do the job. Why did I pick these instead of the black ones? These are the caution ones. These are the ones that say, "Hey, there's a C stand here. Don't trip on it." Sometimes it's good to have those, and there you go. And they're not sand, right? I think these are the same. I think they've got little shot put things in them. All right. So that's the first prize. And hopefully I haven't asked this question yet. And this is for the six set of these. They're calling them saddle sandbags. I don't think it's sand inside of them. And here we go. So if you've got a U.S. address and you answer this question not only correctly but first, then there you go. Question, and this is in light of the fact that I'm going to be eating braised short ribs today, which most likely are going to be made at least partially with red wine, probably beef stock as well. I'll find out later on, which means I'm probably going to be drinking red wine, I think. So the question is, what kind of red wine did Hannibal Lecter enjoy with liver? I think it's a pretty easy one. No looking on the interwebs. I have this up here. Yes, wine, Jess says, with the braised short ribs. So this question, who's the first to answer? I'm looking over here. Boom. Phil comes in out of nowhere with the correct answer, and it is Chianti. And maybe I'll drink Chianti. I learned a lot about Chianti when we were in Italy recently. And for the win, absolutely. There you go. So you are the winner. I will erase this question. This is why I don't always remember to do this, which is why I sometimes wonder in my trivia list if I've asked it already. So there you go. So we've got a winner with Phil. Phil, the way you win this thing is you send an email to challenge. I know some people are sending to contact. It's not the end of the world if you do. And I may have called it out incorrectly anyway. Challenge at thec47.com. Phil, you've got to send your full name, your full address, your telephone number, and then that gets sent off to B&H. Make sure you mention sandbags in the email. And B&H packs it up, ships it to you, no cost, all that kind of stuff. And then you got dirt, more dirt. Who doesn't need more dirt? Come on. Yeah. All right, here we go. Brad, thanks for coming in, though. Oh, yeah, Sisters, west of Bend. All right, drive safely. There's a lot of nasty weather out there, and you're going over the passes and stuff. It can get kind of messy. I know that area. What? Good Jeff says, I knew my stream was off when the answer came up before the question was asked. Yeah, it's that delay. That's weird. Okay, that's not good for you. I don't like that. I've had liver and I've had Chianti. And I did have both together in Siena. It was good. It was really good. Intense, but very good. Challenge that. Still showing your age, I'm DeBrown. Not like you're old, but like my age and, the references. Yeah, I feel like we would have hung out back in the 80s. It would have happened. If you were my neighborhood in the city, I feel like we would have crossed paths and we'd be hanging out for sure. I might be wrong about that, but there you go. Gotta love Jess hates fava beans. I don't hate fava beans. There are things that I don't like, but there you go. All right. 3:54 p.m. on a wonderful Wednesday, November 20th, with the bomb cyclone raging up and down the west coast of the United States. It's messy out there. Yeah, and I sat at the cool table, Tony. Sure. Like I said, we'd probably be hanging out. All right. I'm gonna say nerd, geek. There's a difference between nerds and geeks, and it's a pretty big distinction, in my opinion. And that is that geeks have social skills. That's the distinction. All right, let's go. Ready for the next one, kids? The second prize to be won today is a two-parter. It is this Impact Combo boom stand that you can use to boom your lovely microphones in your productions. And the second part of this is this counterweight, which I use all the time. It's this little 10-pounder. You put it at the end of the boom pole and you counterbalance it, and Bob's your uncle. Like shorts and shirts, 3 dongles down. What are you talking about? A good Sangiovese? You know, a Chianti Classico, as we learned. I was this old when I did. The one with the rooster on it has to be at least 80% Sangiovese grapes, and then the other 20%, God knows what's happening. And then the Chianti Rafina is at least 70% Sangiovese. But I like Sangiovese just all the way, too. And some of the Chiantis are 100%. It just has to be at least 80%. You know, it's like that whole bourbon thing, DJ, you know, with the whole Kentucky bourbon, at least 50% corn, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, all right. I'm just talking while we're looking at a product on here. Stop it. All right. I gotta come back for this, Tony. I remember back in school, for some reason I used to do this stupid ass thing where I would do like an ET impression when the movie came out, and I did it in front of these girls what was it? I guess it wasn't elementary. Yeah, it was elementary or junior. I just remember that there was a garbage can involved in that. So let's just leave it at that. Sangiovese. What do you mean? What are you talking about? What is happening? You guys are too smart for me. All right, here we go. Either that or I'm pronouncing something incorrectly. Yeah, exactly. All right, here we go. Next one. For oh god. I'm not tracking with some of the things that are being. I'll get them later on. Maybe I'll read the transcript. So you're getting the boom stand, and you're getting the counterweight. Whoever's going to answer this correctly first. In what movie did Gene Wilder implore Terry Gard to put the candle back? Put the candle back. Come on. I'm waiting. Put the candle back. What do we got? Was there a door involved? Maybe. I asked that question already? Or ask it already? I did. What is almonds? Oh my god. Put the candle back. Oh, hold on. I got answers here. Yeah. It's a tough one here. I need everybody to weigh in. Phil, you don't get to win twice anyway, so I appreciate you doing that. Willy Wonka, 1971, great year. None of the other ones matter. We have a correct answer. The question is, Shoji Productions came in first with Frankenstein, with Phil coming in with Young Frankenstein. It's not Frankenstein. It's definitely Young Frankenstein. And I am going to have to call it as a pat win, unfortunately, Shoji Productions, because There are a lot of Frankenstein movies out there, and it's very specifically Young Frankenstein. So, Pat, you know what to do. You are the winner of, it's been a while, of this boom stand and this counterweight. And that, yes, so close, but if it was a game show, I don't think that one would have gone through unless maybe it was SNL. Uh, walks this way. And then with Marty Feldman, the hump. Sorry, I'm with the hump changing depending on the scene, which is amazing. Oh, Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. Don't even get me started. How many? Is it three? Is it three? Three movies? It's Blazing Saddles, Stir Crazy. Are they both in Silver Streak? I think it's at least three movies they were in together. Um, all right. Yeah, Marshall's coming in. We got lots of information here. Okay, last prize. I got to get done here. I got to get back to the client stuff and that final prize for the month. Exactly, Marshall. Is this rolling camcorder bag? It's a nice sized bag, lots of stuff there, and you can wheel it around. And as you get older, yeah. Uh, oh, that's right. Not Blazing Saddles. What am I thinking of? Right? No? Yes. See no evil, hear no evil. Yeah. Okay. That's the bag. $250 value. It's on sale right now, so we get to take advantage of that and get into the under $500 thing. I got to take the Blazing Saddles thing away. I've got these all seem very easy. I feel like some people are going to get this, other ones are not. So maybe this is the question. I almost bought that bag. It's so funny. Linda, good to have you here at the end. Okay, what 1980s TV show did actor Tom Hanks star in as Buffy Wilson? This should actually, I mean, if you are of a certain age, you should know this pretty quickly. No cheating, no Googling. It's an 80s TV show, early 80s. Gem with a G. Nice, Marshall. You're killing me here. You're just listening to I'm Brown about this. Okay. There we go. I'm just double checking the YouTube feed. We have a correct answer. The prize is up, and it's already up here in October. All right. The answer is Good Jeff as the winner, and I'll take the extra the extra O in there, but it is Bosom Buddies, and so well done, and yeah, yep, all right, yes, rest in peace. Great show. You know, I didn't watch it a lot when I was a kid. Just slightly too young to sort of say that's my show, but not not far off. You know, I was watching stupid shows back then, like Silver Spoons and Different Strokes, and there was some other stuff that came out around that time. Mork and Mindy. I definitely watched Mork and Mindy more than Bosom Buddies. But there you go. All right, Pat. Good job. Send me the email. You know the deal. Challenge at thec47.com. Your name, your full address, your phone number, and then the prize that you won. So you just have to say rolling bag, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this delay thing, Sam, is garbage. I don't know how to handle that. I wish I could. I don't know if there's any settings that you can do to make sure there's less of a delay. I do have the live stream set to a pretty short delay, but it's consistent. So I'm guessing it's on your end. But well done, good Jeff. Yeah. There you go. There we go. Yes, he was in Newhart. Also a great show. Wow, we're going back in time. Maybe my quote unquote cooking show should have an 80s theme to it. I did actually start looking at that. I was like, why don't I just brand this like the whole thing is fully 80s and do 80s recipes? But there's not a lot. Like, what are we doing? Like stuffed potato skins? I mean, there's not a lot. It may not be as bad as some decades, but yeah. Yep. And then good Jeff keeps hitting live to keep it up to speed. Good tip. Just clip the live marker. We're getting nice, good tips in here for future, like on December 4th, trivia contests and all that. What to do on the lives to improve your stream. Go down to 720 or 480 for less buffering. Good tip as well. Micah says tonight's dinner included beer bread made with a microbrewery stout. Excellent. Was it a dark? Well, it must have been a dark bread. What am I asking as I see the word stout? Some good jelly salads, I'm sure you can find. Yeah, that was more 70s, I think, but they definitely carried over. We watched a lot of TV in the 80s. But I was talking to my son about it the other day, and it was very different back then because sort of TV in the 90s as well, into maybe the early 2000s, it was really an event. It's like Thursday night, you're getting takeout. You're watching from like 8 to 11 o'clock on NBC generally, if you were here in this country. Yeah. Just made 2 loaves of sourdough. They look amazing. We're going to eat some of that tonight. It's going to be delicious. Colin Oliver is ending the stream for me, saying the very important word, simple. Who's this GEM guy? I'm DeBrown. You're killing me. Now I know you're just taking the piss. I was absolutely the family remote guy. And when you mean remote control, what you mean is it was my job to get up and change the channel. And that's what you mean, right? Yeah. All right, kids. It's been great. If you are in the US of A, I wish everybody who's in this country a very happy Thanksgiving next Thursday, the 28th. Remember that 29th? God damn. Come on. I feel like an idiot now. The 28th. Yeah. Have a great Thanksgiving. Linda's given the tip. King Arthur bread flour on sale at Costco. Little tip for you kids out there. 00 flour off of eBay, made in Italy, is great for bread. We just bought a 55-pound bag of is it capo? What is it? Caputo 00 flour. It says pizza flour. It's 00 flour. 55 pounds, $60. Amazing. Wait, I was trying to end and then all this shit's happening here. What's happening? Oh my God. You're killing me over here. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. That will go towards my future bottle of the Abelor Abunak, because I just ran out of my favorite scotch in the whole world. Maybe just leave tiny my name it. Stop it. When I grew up as a kid, Marshall, everybody, 98% of the people thought, what's your name? Jim, Jim. So I would say, hi, my name is Jem, Jem. Ridiculous. Big corded punch button devices. I didn't get any of those. We didn't have those. Everybody gets thanks, David. Wow, now I see what's happening here. It's just Thanksgiving in the US. So I'm just wishing everybody a Thanksgiving here. Thank you to everybody else. You guys are awesome. Get the Caputo flour from Italy, and then your tummy will be happy. And let it do its thing in the fridge and everything. You digest better. It's a beautiful. That Scotch, Megan Leone, is the best. And thank you for chiming in. It is my favorite, and it still is. Abalora Bunak. Um, it's awesome. Okay, you got see the food is a real thing here. Maybe we should just split the episodes, and half of it's food talk, and half of it's camera and production talk. Thank you, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and enjoy your family and your friends. They're the most important thing. Take care. Bye.